The old library stood silent and dusty. Area, a young scientist with curious eyes, pushed open the creaky door. She stepped inside, her heart racing with excitement. This place held secrets from long ago, secrets about her people's past. Area had always wondered about the history of humans. Everyone knew they came from somewhere else, but no one remembered where. It was like a big puzzle with missing pieces. As she walked through the rows of old books, her fingers brushed against their worn spines. Suddenly, she stopped. There, hidden behind some boxes, was a strange-looking machine. It was covered in dust, but Area could see it was different from anything she'd seen before. With shaky hands, she pressed a button. The machine hummed to life, lights blinking on its surface. A hologram appeared, showing stars and planets Area had never seen. "This must be from before," she whispered to herself. "Before we lost our way." Days turned into weeks as Area studied the machine. She learned that humans once traveled among the stars. They were part of something called the Galactic Empire. But 3,000 years ago, something happened. Humans disappeared from the Empire's records. Area couldn't believe it. Her people had a whole history they'd forgotten. She had to tell someone. She ran to find Professor Zen, her mentor. The old man listened carefully as Area explained her discovery. His eyes grew wide with each word. "Area," he said slowly, "do you know what this means? We're not alone in the universe. We were once part of something bigger." Together, they decided to form a team. They needed to learn more about their lost history and what happened 3,000 years ago. As news spread, more people joined their project. Some were excited, others scared. What if the Galactic Empire still existed? What would they think of humans now? Area and her team worked day and night. They found more old machines, more forgotten knowledge. Slowly, the story of their past came together. Humans had been great inventors and explorers. They had ships that could travel faster than light. But then came the Great Silence. All contact with the Empire stopped. No one knew why. One day, while digging through old files, Area found something strange. It was a blueprint for a ship, but like nothing she'd ever seen. The design used gravity itself to move through space. "This is it," she shouted, her voice echoing in the quiet library. "This is how we can reach the stars again." But building such a ship wouldn't be easy. They needed materials they didn't have, and knowledge they were still learning. It would take time and hard work. As Area and her team made plans, they didn't notice the small drone watching them from outside. It recorded everything, then flew away silently into the night sky. Far away on a planet filled with tall spires and busy spaceports, the drone's message arrived. In a dark room, figures gathered around a screen, watching Area and her team with great interest. "So," a voice said, "the lost humans have finally remembered who they are." Another voice spoke up. "Should we contact them? Welcome them back?" The first voice chuckled, a sound without warmth. "No, let's watch for now. Let's see what these forgotten children can do." Back on Earth, unaware of the eyes watching them, Area looked up at the night sky. The stars seemed brighter now, full of promise and adventure. "We're coming," she whispered to the twinkling lights above. "We're coming back to where we belong." As she turned to go back inside, a shooting star streaked across the sky. Was it a sign? A welcome? Or a warning? Only time would tell. The story of humanity's return to the stars had just begun, and the Galactic Empire, whether they knew it or not, was about to be shaken to its very core. Months passed since Area's big discovery. The old library had become a busy place. Scientists, engineers, and curious people filled its rooms. They all wanted to learn about humanity's forgotten past. Area and her team worked hard every day. They studied the old machines and documents they found. It wasn't easy. Much of the old knowledge was hard to understand. But slowly, piece by piece, they began to make sense of it all. One day, while looking at the ship blueprints, Area noticed something odd. "Look here," she said to Professor Zen, pointing at a strange symbol. This keeps appearing in different parts of the design. The professor leaned in, his eyes narrowing. Interesting. It looks like some kind of energy field. They called in Dr. Kira, their physics expert. She studied the symbol for a long time. Suddenly, her eyes lit up. It's not just an energy field, she exclaimed. It's a way to control gravity itself. This was a big moment. If they could understand how to control gravity, they could build ships that could easily travel through space. It would change everything. The team worked day and night to figure out how the gravity control worked. They built small models and ran tests. Many failed, but they didn't give up. One night, after everyone else had gone home, Aria was still in the lab. She was trying one last idea. She adjusted some settings on their latest model and turned it on. To her amazement, the small object began to float. It hung in the air, defying gravity. Aria couldn't believe her eyes. She had done it. She quickly called the others. Soon, the quiet lab was filled with excited voices. They had taken the first step towards building a real spaceship. But their excitement was short-lived. Building a full-sized ship would be much harder. They needed rare materials and advanced technology they didn't have. "We'll find a way," Aria said, her voice full of determination. "We've come too far to stop now." As they made plans, they didn't know they were being watched. In a nearby city, in a tall building with dark windows, a group of people sat around a table. They wore expensive clothes and had serious faces. "The humans are progressing faster than we expected," one man said, looking at a report. A woman nodded, her eyes sharp. "Their gravity control technology could be very valuable. We should act now, before they fully understand what they have." The group agreed. They would send spies to get closer to Aria and her team. They wanted to steal the new technology for themselves. Back at the lab, work continued. Aria and her team started building a prototype of their new ship. It was small, just big enough for one person. But if it worked, it would prove that humans could once again travel among the stars. As they worked, strange things began to happen. Tools went missing. Computer files were changed. Someone was trying to slow them down. Aria grew suspicious. She set up cameras and kept a close watch on everything. One night, she caught someone sneaking into the lab. It was a man she had never seen before. "Who are you?" she demanded. "What are you doing here?" The man looked surprised, then ran. Aria chased him, but he disappeared into the night. She told her team what happened. They realized their work was in danger. "We need to be careful," Professor Zen said. "Our discovery is big. Some people might want to take it from us." Aria nodded, feeling worried but determined. "We'll protect our work," she said. "And we'll finish our ship. Nothing will stop us from reaching the stars." As the team went back to work, they didn't know that bigger challenges were coming. The Galactic Empire was starting to notice Earth again, and soon, humanity would face its greatest test in 3,000 years. But for now, in their busy lab, Aria and her friends kept working. They were bringing humanity's dreams of space back to life, one discovery at a time. The day had finally come. After months of hard work, Aria and her team were ready to test their prototype ship. They called it Starhopper. It wasn't big, just enough room for one person, but it carried all their hopes and dreams. Captain Zara stood next to the small ship, her eyes shining with excitement. She was chosen to be the test pilot. Zara had been a pilot for years, but this was different. This ship could change everything. "Are you ready?" Aria asked, handing Zara her helmet. Zara nodded, her voice steady. "I've been ready for this my whole life." The team gathered around. They had moved their work to a secret location in the mountains. It was safer here, away from prying eyes. Professor Zen spoke to the group. "Today, we make history. Whatever happens, remember how far we've come." Zara climbed into the Starhopper. The inside was cramped, filled with controls and screens. She took a deep breath and gave a thumbs up. Aria's voice came through the radio. Starting countdown. 10, 9, 8. As the count went on, everyone held their breath. This was the moment of truth. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. The Starhopper hummed to life. There was no loud roar like old rockets. Instead, a soft blue glow surrounded the ship. Slowly, it began to rise. Cheers erupted from the team as the ship hovered a few feet off the ground. But this was just the beginning. Inside the ship, Zara focused on the controls. Increasing power, she said calmly. The Starhopper shot upwards, faster than anyone expected. In seconds, it was high above the mountain tops. It's working, Aria shouted, jumping with joy. It's really working. Zora's voice crackled over the radio. The ride is smooth. I'm going to try some maneuvers. Everyone watched in awe as the small ship zipped across the sky. It moved in ways no normal aircraft could, stopping and turning on a dime. But then, something unexpected happened. A red light started flashing on Zora's control panel. I'm picking up something, she reported. Another ship, coming this way fast. Aria and the team looked at each other in shock. No one was supposed to know about this test. Zara, come back now, Aria said urgently. But it was too late. A large, sleek ship appeared in the sky. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. It had to be from the Galactic Empire. Unknown ship, identify yourself. A stern voice came through the radio. Zara didn't answer. Instead, she pushed the Starhopper to its limits. The small ship darted and weaved, trying to escape. The Empire ship was fast, but the Starhopper was more agile. Zara used every trick she knew, plus the ship's unique abilities. I can't shake them, Zara said, her voice tense. But I think I can outrun them. She pushed a button, activating the ship's secret weapon, the gravity drive. The Starhopper suddenly accelerated, leaving a trail of blue light behind it. The Empire ship tried to follow but couldn't keep up. In moments, the Starhopper was out of sight. Back at the base, everyone waited anxiously. Minutes felt like hours. Then, finally, they heard Zora's voice. I'm coming in for landing. And you won't believe what I saw up there. The Starhopper appeared, gently touching down where it had started. Zora climbed out, her legs shaky, but her eyes bright with excitement. We did it, she said, hugging Aria. We really did it. As the team celebrated, Aria looked up at the sky. They had proven their ship worked, but they had also drawn the attention of the Galactic Empire. What do we do now? Someone asked. Aria stood tall, her face determined. We keep going. We've shown what we can do. Now it's time to show the galaxy that humanity is back. As night fell, the team made plans. They knew that soon, the whole galaxy would be talking about the humans and their amazing ship. The adventure was just beginning, and no one knew where it would lead. But one thing was clear. The age of humanity hiding on Earth was over. It was time to reach for the stars once again. Captain Zora's heart was racing as she piloted the Starhopper through space. The test flight had turned into something much more dangerous. Behind her, an Empire patrol ship was in hot pursuit. Aria, do you copy? Zora spoke into her comm. I've got company up here. Back on Earth, Aria and the team huddled around the communications console. We hear you, Zora. What's happening? They're trying to force me to land on some nearby moon. I don't think they're friendly. Professor Zen's face was grim. We can't let them capture our technology. Zora, you need to escape. Zara nodded, even though they couldn't see her. I'll do my best. The Empire ship was larger and more powerful, but the Starhopper was nimble. Zara weaved between asteroids, trying to lose her pursuer. Unknown vessel, this is your final warning. Power down and prepare to be boarded. A stern voice crackled over the radio. Zara ignored them. Instead, she pushed the Starhopper's engines to their limits. The small ship shot forward, leaving a trail of blue light behind it. The Empire ship matched her speed. Suddenly, a bright beam of energy flashed past the Starhopper. "They're shooting at me," Zora shouted. On Earth, Aria's team watched helplessly. "The Starhopper doesn't have any weapons," one engineer said, his voice filled with worry. Aria's mind raced. "Zora, remember the gravity drive. Use it." Zora's eyes lit up. Of course. She activated the special drive. Instantly, the space around the Starhopper seemed to bend. The Empire ship's next shot curved away, missing completely. "It worked." Zora cheered. "Their weapons can't touch me." But the Empire ship wasn't giving up. It launched small, fast drones to try and catch the Starhopper. Zora gritted her teeth. She spun the ship in ways that should have been impossible, dodging the drones. One by one, the drones crashed into each other or nearby asteroids. The chase continued for what felt like hours. Zora was getting tired, but she couldn't give up. Suddenly, she had an idea. "Aria, I'm going to try something crazy," she said. Before anyone could respond, Zora aimed the Starhopper directly at the Empire ship. She accelerated, going faster and faster. The Empire ship tried to move out of the way, but Zora was too quick. At the last second, she activated the gravity drive at full power. Space itself seemed to warp around the Starhopper. In a blink, it vanished, reappearing on the other side of the Empire ship. The sudden gravitational shift sent the larger ship spinning out of control. By the time they recovered, the Starhopper was long gone. Cheers erupted from the control room on Earth. Zora had done it. She had outmaneuvered a ship from the mighty Galactic Empire. As Zora began her journey back to Earth, the implications of what had happened began to sink in. "We've just announced our presence to the galaxy in a big way," Professor Zen said, his voice serious. Aria nodded. "And we've shown them that we're not helpless. Our technology works, maybe even better than theirs." The team knew that things would never be the same. Humanity had been hiding on Earth for 3,000 years, forgotten by the rest of the galaxy. But now, they were back on the cosmic stage. As the Starhopper came in for landing, crowds had gathered to watch. News of the space chase had somehow leaked, and people were excited and scared. Zora climbed out of the ship, tired but proud. Aria ran to hug her. "You did it," Aria said. "You're a hero." Zora shook her head. "We all did it. This is just the beginning." As the sun set, Aria looked up at the stars. Out there, she knew, the Empire was probably in an uproar. A small ship from a forgotten planet had outrun and outsmarted them. "What happens now?" someone in the crowd asked. Aria stood tall. "Now we prepare. The galaxy knows we're here. It's time for humanity to take its place among the stars once again." The adventure was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. But one thing was clear. Humanity was ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy might bring. The news spread faster than a comet across the galaxy. Humans, a species thought lost for 3,000 years, had suddenly reappeared, and they had technology that could outmaneuver the Empire's best ships. On the bustling planet of Zor 7, the central hub of the Galactic Empire, chaos erupted. The Grand Council chamber, usually a place of quiet debates, was now filled with shouting voices. "Order! We must have order!" boomed High Counselor Vex, his tentacles waving for silence. The room slowly quieted. Vex looked around at the faces of 100 different species, all united in their shock and confusion. "We have confirmed reports," Vex began, "that the humans of Earth have developed a ship with extraordinary capabilities." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. A tall, bird-like creature named Kree stood up. "How is this possible?" Kree squawked. "The humans were barely able to reach their own moon when we last saw them." Another counselor, a shimmering being of pure energy called Zin, spoke up. "Perhaps they had help. Could other species have given them technology?" Accusations flew back and forth. Some blamed the mysterious Arcturians, known for their advanced science, Others suspected the warlike Zorblaxians of arming the humans for their own purposes. As the debate raged in a quiet corner of the chamber, Ambassador Lyra of the peaceful Andromedan Federation whispered to her aide. "Contact Earth immediately," she said. "We must open diplomatic channels before this situation escalates." Meanwhile, on the military planet of Kryx, General Zark watched recordings of the Starhopper's amazing maneuvers. His cybernetic eyes zoomed in, analyzing every detail. "Fascinating," he growled. "Their gravity manipulation is far beyond our current capabilities." His second-in-command, a reptilian named Sis, hissed nervously. "Should we see this as a threat, sir?" Zark was quiet for a moment. Perhaps, or perhaps, an opportunity. Across the galaxy, reactions varied wildly. On the trade world of Boros, merchants saw the potential for new markets and technologies. They rushed to be the first to establish contact with Earth. In the nebula clusters of the void realms, the mysterious ethereals felt the shift in the cosmic balance. Their wispy forms gathered in urgent council, debating what the return of humanity might mean for the future of the galaxy. Back on Earth, Aria and her team were overwhelmed. Messages were pouring in from across the stars. Some were friendly, full of curiosity and offers of alliance. Others were wary, demanding explanations and assurances. "I never expected this," Aria said, looking at the flood of alien communications. "We've stirred up the entire galaxy." Professor Zen nodded gravely. "We must be careful now. Every move we make will be watched closely." Captain Zara, still celebrated as a hero for her daring escape, was more optimistic. "This is our chance to show the galaxy who we really are. We're not just our technology. We're explorers, dreamers." As they discussed their next steps, a priority message came through. It was from the Galactic Empire itself. "Greetings, people of Earth," the message began. "Your recent actions have caused great interest throughout the galaxy. The Empire formally requests a delegation to appear before the Grand Council to explain your sudden reemergence and demonstrate your new technology." The room fell silent as they realized the weight of this moment. This wasn't just about a single ship anymore. The fate of all humanity might depend on what they did next. Aria took a deep breath and stood up. "We'll go," she said firmly. "It's time for humanity to take its place in the galactic community again." As preparations began for the historic mission, news spread across Earth. People everywhere were filled with a mix of excitement and fear. After millennia of isolation, they were about to step onto the galactic stage. In space stations, on alien worlds, and in the farthest reaches of the cosmos, all eyes turned toward the small blue planet called Earth. The humans were back, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shape the future of not just humanity, but all intelligent life in the universe. The next chapter in galactic history was about to be written. The grand halls of the Galactic Council on Zor 7 buzzed with excitement. Today, for the first time in 3,000 years, humans would stand before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds. Aria led the small Earth delegation. With her were Professor Zen, Captain Zara, and Dr. Kira. They walked slowly, taking in the alien sights and sounds around them. "Remember," Aria whispered to her team, "we're here to make friends, not enemies." As they entered the main chamber, a hush fell over the crowd. Hundreds of alien eyes, some with more than two, focused on the humans. High Counselor Vex's voice boomed across the room. "We welcome the delegation from Earth. Please, step forward and address the council." Aria took a deep breath and approached the central platform. Her voice was steady as she began to speak. "Greetings, citizens of the galaxy. We come in peace, seeking to rejoin the galactic community after our long absence." She went on to explain how humans had rediscovered their lost history and technology. She emphasized their desire for peaceful cooperation and shared progress. As Aria spoke, reactions in the chamber were mixed. Some counselors nodded approvingly, while others whispered suspiciously to each other. Ambassador Lyra of the Andromedan Federation stood up. "We welcome the return of humanity," she said warmly. "Your species has always been known for its creativity and resilience." But not everyone was so welcoming. Cree, the bird-like creature, squawked loudly. "How do we know they won't use their new technology against us? They've already outmaneuvered one of our ships." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Aria raised her hands for calm. "We understand your concerns," she said. "That's why we're here. We want to be transparent about our capabilities and our intentions." She nodded to Dr. Kira, who stepped forward with a holographic projector. Soon, a detailed image of the Starhopper filled the air. "Our gravity drive technology," Dr. Kira explained, "is not a weapon. It's a tool for exploration and scientific discovery." As the Earth team continued their presentation, they didn't notice the shadowy figures watching from a hidden balcony. General Zark of the Krix military turned to his companion, a hooded figure known only as the Whisperer. "What do you think?" Zark growled softly. The Whisperer's voice was barely audible. "The humans are clever, but naive. They reveal too much." Zark nodded. "Then our plan proceeds." "Yes," hissed the Whisperer. "Let them think they've won the Council's trust. Soon, their precious technology will be ours." Back on the Council floor, the mood had shifted. Many of the alien representatives seemed impressed by the humans' openness and technology. Councillor Zen, the being of pure energy, floated forward. "I propose we welcome Earth back into the galactic community. Their advancements could benefit us all." A cheer went up from many in the chamber. Aria and her team exchanged relieved smiles. It seemed their mission was a success. As the session ended, various alien representatives approached the humans, eager to establish personal connections. Promises of trade deals, cultural exchanges, and scientific collaborations filled the air. But not everyone was celebrating. In a quiet corner, Cree huddled with a group of like-minded counselors. "This is a mistake," Cree hissed. "The humans will upset the balance of power. We must find a way to control them, or eliminate the threat they pose." As the Earth delegation prepared to return home, they felt a mix of excitement and caution. They had made progress, but they knew challenges lay ahead. "We did it," Captain Zora said, grinning. "We're part of the galactic community again." Professor Zen nodded, but his eyes were serious. "Yes, but we must remain vigilant. Not everyone will welcome our return." Aria looked out at the stars visible through a large window. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. "We have so much to learn, and so much to prove." Little did they know, as their ship departed Zor 7, that multiple factions were already plotting. Some sought to steal Earth's technology, others to sabotage their efforts, and a few to protect this re-emerging species. The humans had made their galactic debut, but the real challenges were yet to come. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. The sky over Earth was filled with twinkling stars, but today they seemed to shine brighter. It had been a month since the human delegation returned from the Galactic Council. The planet buzzed with excitement and hope for a new future among the stars. Aria stood on the balcony of the newly built Interstellar Command Center, watching ships take off and land. Some were human, others alien. Earth was quickly becoming a hub of galactic activity. Suddenly, alarms blared across the facility. Red lights flashed everywhere. "What's happening?" Aria shouted, rushing inside. Captain Zora was already at the main console, her face grim. "We're under attack." Multiple ships just appeared in orbit. On the big screen, they could see a fleet of sleek, dark ships. They weren't like any they had seen before. Professor Zen's voice crackled over the comm. "It's a coalition of species who fear our technology. They're led by Kree and backed by some rogue military factions." Aria's mind raced. This was what they had feared might happen. "Activate our defenses," she ordered. All around the world, gravity shields sprang to life, based on the technology from the Starhopper. The attacking ships fired powerful beams, but they curved away harmlessly. It's working. Someone cheered. But their relief was short-lived. One of the enemy ships managed to slip through a gap in the shields. It landed near the command center, and armored figures poured out. They're after our tech, Zara realized. We can't let them get it. Arya nodded. Activate Protocol Omega. Across the facility, vital data began to delete itself. If they couldn't protect it, they would destroy it. The invaders burst into the command center, led by a familiar bird-like figure, Kree. Surrender your technology, humans. Kree squawked. You're too dangerous to be allowed free reign in the galaxy. But Arya stood tall. We won't give up what we've worked so hard to achieve. We have as much right to exist in this galaxy as anyone. Just then, the room filled with a bright light. Everyone shielded their eyes. When they could see again, they gasped. Floating in the center of the room was Counselor Zin, the beam of pure energy. This attack is unauthorized, Zin's voice echoed. The Galactic Council does not condone this action. Kree stumbled back, shocked. But the humans are a threat. Zin turned to face the attackers. The only threat here is from those who would use violence to stifle progress and cooperation. More lights appeared. Holograms of other council members filled the room. Among them was Ambassador Lyra. We have been watching, Lyra said. The humans have shown themselves to be peaceful and open. They have earned their place among us. The attackers looked at each other, unsure what to do. Their plan was falling apart. Arya stepped forward. We don't want conflict. We want to work together to make the galaxy better for everyone. Her words seemed to have an effect. Slowly, the invaders lowered their weapons. Kree looked defeated. I was wrong, he admitted. Fear clouded my judgment. Outside, the attacking fleet began to retreat. The danger had passed. As the council holograms discussed what punishments the attackers would face, Arya and her team breathed a sigh of relief. We did it, Zora said, grinning. We protected Earth and proved ourselves to the galaxy. Professor Zen nodded. This is a turning point. The way we handled this attack will change how the galaxy sees us. In the days that followed, news of the failed attack spread across the stars. Many who had been wary of Earth now saw humans in a new light. Offers of alliance and cooperation poured in from across the galaxy. A week later, Arya stood before the Galactic Council again. This time, she was there to accept Earth's formal recognition as a full member of the galactic community. Today marks the beginning of a new era, Arya said, her voice carried to every corner of the galaxy. Humanity is ready to take its place among the stars. We bring with us our creativity, our determination, and our dream of a better future for all. As applause filled the council chamber, back on Earth, humans looked to the sky with new eyes. The stars were no longer distant and unreachable. They were beacons of adventure, discovery, and hope. The age of Earth's isolation was over. Humanity's greatest journey was just beginning.